everyone, welcome to another pick a card reading. So today we're going to be doing it a couple different ways. So you can pick 1, 5, 7, 2, 4, 8, 3, 6, 9, or 1, 2, 3, however you're guided to. Or you can do vampire and pumpkins over here, the owl in the center, and the pumpkin witch and the ghost and skeleton over here. However you want to do, whatever you're guided to pick in that area, in that vicinity, feel free to pick. Okay? So, we are going to start by talking a little bit about the strange energy that's going around right now. I don't know if a lot of people are feeling it, but it is causing a lot of confusion out there. It's causing a lot of fatigue. It's causing a lot of solar plexus and sacral activity, which would be stomach pain, stomach disorders, moving on up to the chest with the anxiety. So I'm going to do a little reading here to see what that energy is. So you pick your cards and we will discuss what your higher self wants you to know. All right. We're going to start with 157. Oops, I forgot to turn on my little pumpkin. And my little guy. And I can't find the candle that goes to my little jack-o'-lantern. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're gonna pick a song. Lauryn Hill, Tell Him. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that song, but it keeps popping up. So maybe we're not getting the message. So tell him I need him, tell him I love him. I may have faith to make mountains fall, but if I lack love, I am nothing at all. And that's the main lyric that stands out to me in this reading. And that's because love is the most powerful force in the universe. So we're going to go with 10 of Imps. Now, when we're looking at the 10 of Imps upright, it's very interesting. He's blindfolded. He doesn't know if he's going to hit the pumpkin jackpot. He doesn't know, but he is going to hit it. And whatever comes out of that pumpkin is a treat, regardless. If he gets 1 or 2, be grateful for whatever comes out of that pumpkin, right? So when it's in reverse, usually the key meaning is inheritance. It's property, it's family, it's miscommunication in family. So upside down or reverse. It's usually, miscommunication in family with children. Almost like I see it as bridging the gap in a sense. Conflicting belief systems. I'm seeing this a lot with politics right now, where family are disagreeing. Like you got one Trump supporter and one whatever supporter, because they want things done differently. And it is definitely a bridge. A gap in the bridge. And what helps that is love. Love bridges the gap anywhere. And it's also about working too hard and not, ambition taking over your personal life. So that's what the card means. Now we're going to move on to the other cards. Oh, 1 second. Grab a chair here. Okay. So the next card we have is Emotional Intelligence, Vampire. And I immediately see energy vampires when I see that card. And we got Interesting. 33, the master enlightenment number. Release your power. And you are reborn. And during this time of October, this fall, this autumn, we are releasing the old to make room for the new. We are being reborn. After autumn, winter, we have that time of frozen state, and then we have spring, which we're reborn. So let us see what the Halloween Oracle has to say. And interesting, yesterday I was discussing the synchronicity behind people picking the side of where they were at, and today Vampire came through on the left side with Vampire. It's a nice little synchronicity. So I'm going to do like what I did yesterday and zoom it in so everybody can see. Okay. Vampire. The deepest, the coldest, the craving of the blood, the hole never filled, the longing like a flood. Okay, so the vampire, it's both horrifying and desirable. I remember I used to love the show True Blood, and I always wished, I wish vampires were real. Having someone want us so much that they desire to be that closely linked with us does feel good until we realize there's nothing much left of us to give. Most of us have heard the concept of emotional vampirism, the idea that people feed off our energy and our goodwill and take advantage of us through manipulation and their incessant neediness. Should the vampire card appear in your reading, it may indicate that you are being drained in this way, and the time has come for stronger boundaries. We need to be very aware of what gives us energy in our lives and what takes it away. We should be aware of needing people to need us and why we invite people like this into our homes, into our workplace, into our lives, if indeed we have them around us. Developing the emotional intelligence within ourselves helps us defend against this kind of emotional and psychic attack and enables us to foster healthy, equal relationships of all kinds. So I'm getting family, energy vampires within the family. And having boundaries to say, hey, having the strength and the power within to say, I am not going to put up with this anymore. Everything's going to be all right when you speak up for yourself and quit letting people drain you. You know how, you wear garlic to protect yourself from vampires? Wear tourmaline or wear obsidian. Put it in your pocket, and that'll help deflect some of that energy. It'll give you a little bit of, I wouldn't say power, but it allows you to keep your power within you. Okay, so freedom. It'll give you the freedom as well to speak your mind. And I was just talking to another reader about having almost like a little throat chakra blockage that's been coming up lately. This energy is popping up, and it's almost like it's trying to suppress our voice. So if I have a little hard time communicating, that is what is happening right now. So we're going to go to the butterfly ferrets. Cute little girl. I'm seeing the red, which is fear, passion, root chakra activity. Cute little ferrets. They're so cuddly and sweet. Okay, butterfly ferrets, and that is number 5. And 5 is all about freedom, adventure, wanting to travel. And we got family, and everybody's saying, save your money, don't go, blah, 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 draining you. It's like, I see a lot of family stuff happening here. So the butterfly is the ultimate symbol of transformation, and the ferret is mistrusting and alert and repels those who would do her harm. This strange combination will see you safe at this time of vulnerability and new powers. For while you are reborn, you must have protection and will ensure you are safe in this moment of higher danger. So I love how these two cards talk about power. You're gaining these new powers, but you have people that want to drain you of these new energies that you have. So, okay, moving on. So you have protection, the butterfly is a symbol of the changing self, who somehow is the very same creature it was before. It dwells in one form, enters a time of stillness, and then emerges. So I see that as meditation. Anytime we meditate, we emerge as a new self. So the butterfly's transformation is a heroic journey through elements, the dissolution of self, the apparent destruction of form, and the struggle to be free to fly. It is no easy task for the butterfly to emerge from the cocoon. It evolves through a transition zone that is tight as a baby through the birth canal, and in doing this, its green blood is pumped and squeezed through its untested wings. Without this process of restriction and transition of something to drive oneself against, there can be no flight, and thus no survival for the butterfly. If you were to see a cocooned butterfly struggling, you might feel overwhelmed with compassion and wish to help free the beautiful emerging creature. But if you cut a butterfly free from its cocoon, its wings will never be strong enough to take flight. So it requires this pain, guys. It requires. So the blood will not have pumped through the wings, the very thing that must take place for the creature to fly. So you can see that we must all experience this struggle at some point, or we will not be strong enough to fly. So yes, pain and heartache and all that, it makes us stronger. Yes, you may feel weak as you've ever felt, but it in turn makes us stronger. If I had not gone through the tremendous loss that I have, I would not be able to handle the amount of loss that I had after that. And it says, you have been through a time of great challenge and difficulty. You will feel new, vulnerable, and inexperienced. You thought you might not want to survive to this day, but now it is here. You are drying your newfound wings in the gentle sunlight. For this moment, just one moment, know that there is nothing for you to do but to take in the significance of the change you have shaped for yourself. You have changed. You are renewed. And I'm seeing a lot of family, family, friends, etc., not liking this new change. And that popped up in yesterday's reading as well. So this might resonate if you watch, not yesterday, it's the day before, my previous reading. You have passed a great test, and now you are reborn. It's a dangerous time, but you are protected greatly right now. You've grown these wings. It's time to learn to use them. Take your time. Breathe in the new air. Taste afresh the sweet times of life. And the divination is you have changed. You are at a very new stage with very little experience. While the butterfly ferrets celebrate you and your transformation, they are watchful. So they send you these alert, aware young ones to keep safe your borders while you find your feet. Shake off the shock of birth and set your new direction. You will be protected at your most vulnerable. You will not turn back. You cannot go back to the womb. You cannot go back to sleep. You cannot be as you were because you withstood the tomb of the cocoon and have resurrected in this life. You are beloved, and the butterfly ferrets celebrate who you have become. And I'm also getting this as a message. If you've lost a loved one, they are currently being reborn. They are currently transitioning into new form. If that makes sense for anybody out there. Piñatas. Something about piñatas, party time. It's like time to celebrate this new birth. It is time to celebrate. It is time to quit letting people take advantage of you. Okay, now moving on to Dress of Alchemy. And I love, so she's got a cup right here. It's got the life force of blood. It's got intuition. She's got the moon behind her. And, it looks like one of those red moons, the harvest moons that comes around. And it's super powerful. So super intelligent, super intuition. You got this. And it's about using this intuition to guide you to who to let go, where to go, But I love this card. The Dress of Alchemy. Release your power. And it's almost, I'm seeing peacock eyes, but I'm also seeing like a phoenix of sorts. And, this is awesome. Oh my God. Look at her dress. It looks exactly like my background. It's exactly like my background. Like, literally, it's got all the symbols, same symbols. Crazy synchronicity. This is super awesome for me. I don't know about you, but whatever. Peacocks, lots of eyes I'm seeing. Okay, so Moving on to 33, which is the master number of enlightenment. It is also the number 6, which is about balance, which is about family as well. So I'm seeing a lot of family miscommunications happening, or communications, or family meetings, or trying to communicate with family. They want you to go one way. You want to go one way. They're trying to tell you what's best for you, but only you know what's best for you. They're trying to keep you down at their level because they don't want to see you surpass them. So they want to keep you almost prisoner. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. And once again, I love this tree. Has steps to climb to the top of the tree. And I'm almost seeing like the steps of ascension, the steps of the Kundalini awakening, walking up the steps of the DNA structure. Okay, 33. You have powerful energy when this beautiful being shows up in your readings. You have strong, powerful, vibrant energy that changes lives. And with that comes great responsibility. Some people may be eroding their own energy fields with blame, discontent, and choosing the same destructive patterns over and over again. When this being walks in, she shows you that it is possible to change deeply and truly, and to become clear, bright, strong, healthy, and very powerful in terms of your energy. She understands the responsibility and has worked consistently and with great discipline and earnestness to be able to create this power. The eyes in her wings make it impossible to hide from the truth of who you are. That is the third eye, the eye of enlightenment, the telepathy. When that gift begins to awaken, nothing can be hidden from you. You know the truth. And it's not from an ego-based. If it's ever ego-based and jealous-based or ego-based, that is not truth. That is masquerading as truth. The truth always comes from your heart. You have to listen with your heart. Okay, so the divination is, please take time to clear from your own sacred energy field jealousy, envy, fear, and guilt. Whoa, I just said that. Once you are clear, welcome in bright, strong, powerful, healthy energy. After this has taken place, accept symbols and signs to pour in. Symbols and signs. Wow, I'm still blown away by that. I'm gonna keep going here. Keep your energy strong and bright and follow the signs. When your energy is strong and bright, when you come from a place of love, courage, and wisdom, you will attract the right signs and you will not be misled. Do not expect to have no change after her arrival. Relationships and situations based on ego-centered concepts containing toxic energies will fall away naturally, and you will now ask for your worth. This is not overweening pride. It is self-love in action. Absolutely. This is absolutely awesome. Communicate what you want. Communicate to the universe what you want. Communicate to your spirit guides and to the angels what you want. Communicate to your friends and family what you want. Don't let them keep you down. I'm getting that song by Tell Him. Oh, look at the song was Tell Him that came up in the meeting. So it's like tell him, tell her, tell your family. Tell your lost loved one. Tell your spirit guides. But I'm also getting this song by Newfound Glory. Don't let her pull you down. But don't let them pull you down. And I'm almost seeing like, in that video, it's he's at a cemetery and the zombies are trying to pull him down with him, and that's what happens. The people that are in this sleep state want to keep you in the sleep state with them. So release your power. You are being reborn, and you can't let them suck you dry. You have the 2 little ferrets, spirit animals that are protecting you, along with, I'm seeing this like 3-headed crane there. I know there's a story about that. I can't really remember it now. Maybe I'll tell it another time. But yeah, 3. So that's prominent. And we got 33. And we've got it 33 plus 5 plus 1. It's 12. So 3 again. So communication, create the reality and life that you want. Communicate the reality and life that you want. It is time. All right. Wow, that one took a little long. Okay, so moving on to 2, 4, and 8. Okay, moving on to 248. We've got the Fool in reverse, Death. So the Fool in reverse, Death. Miss Spiderweb. That reminds me of my friend Mickey for some reason. And Strange and Lonely. Okay, so now let's do with the song. And immediately what I'm getting here is holding on way too tightly to old friendships, relationships, people that you should let go. It's and I don't want to say they served their purpose, but they are no longer aligned with your purpose. So the song for this reading is I Will Be Light by Modest Yahoo. And it says, time will continue without you. So in the end, it's not about you. But what did you do? Who do you love besides you? Beside you, many die in the name of vanity. Many die in their mind's eye for justice. We die for you and still do. So I say to you, this is nothing new. I will be light. And so many people come before you. They have died so you can live. This is about acknowledging that gift that you were given to come here to earth, the gift that you were given to still be here. We have lost so many in the process, and this is asking you to, remember why you're here. Okay. And we've got the Fool in reverse, which, in the traditional tarot, the Fool is the guy who's got the little puppy. Okay, so let's take a look at the Fool. Upright. He's letting his little cat, trusting the little cat's going to lead him to safety. He's got his little suitcase. He's like, I'm out of here. See you guys later. In the traditional tarot, he's carrying the little hobo stick with the sack at the end. But this is about juggling all the things, right? So he's upside down, which is about making foolish decisions. It's about not thinking them clearly because you want things now, not seeing the opportunities. Sabotaging your own chances and being irrational. So it's asking you to think clearly before moving forward, before making commitments to people. In upside down, the mouth works ahead of the brain. So sometimes we say things because we just want to spit it out, that we don't think before we speak. We're not really thinking of the outcome. We want answers now, so we're not thinking. This is asking you to think before making a decision. And it's over here as well. Reconsider your alliances, make new connections. It's asking you to think, holding on way too tightly to things. Think about these things before you do them. So, we're going to go with Death. And let's get to this. Okay. Let me move this down so we can get a little... Oops. There we go. Okay. So, 'tis not the end, though I may pass in the night. I get to do my time over, although you may get a fright. Many pagans believe that death was the beginning of the life cycle. When you think about it, most people consider the act of birth to be the beginning of the life cycle. We are born, we live, we die. And it's interesting because I've always believed that as well. Death is actually the process. Even that waiting period is, while you're waiting to incarnate, that's a process. We are born, we live, we die, and depending on your beliefs, you may get to go around again. Instead, pagan cultures see death as the beginning of a whole new adventure, the place where your soul gets to choose where it incarnates, why and what it wants to experience. Then and only then does it get born into a body that lives and eventually dies, before returning to ride a new cycle. And Halloween is a celebration of death as a part of life. As humans are conscious beings, we know about death, and many are afraid and uncomfortable about it. Halloween illuminates the universal truth that all of us will die, just as all of us were born. So to be fearful of that end process is fairly pointless. When people say time is short, I don't hate it. I strongly disagree with it. Time is not short. There is no time. Time just is. Don't give it a meaning. Don't let it exist in your life. Don't fast forward through things by saying life is short. Halloween asks us to instead make friends with death, just as we seem friendly with birth, and to not allow our fears and grief to bring us unnecessary pain. Do not be afraid if you pull the death card, as it simply means that something is falling away or will do so you can begin strongly afresh. There is great power in this clearing. If you pull this card at Halloween particularly, the message is stronger still, and you should actively celebrate this new beginning. So yes, I'm pulling this card around Halloween time, guys. This is saying don't fear death. Don't fear the other side. Don't fear living. No fear. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Okay, so we're going to move to, and it almost looks, if you look at it, it almost looks like a bumblebee. Bee popped up in my previous reading as well. I was like, bee, 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 bee. But yeah, there's the bee. So the eternal cycle begins here. So don't make rash decisions. Really be grateful for your life. Really honor it. Acknowledge it. Okay, so moving on to Miss Spiderweb. And like I said, that reminds me of my friend Mickey, because she's got this awesome spider tattoo. And that almost looks like that. Okay. 14, Miss Spiderweb. Prepare for a time when you reevaluate your connections, as well as the value of where and with whom you network. You will soon begin to shift your focus of communication to a place that will see you prosper, grow, and thrive. It is time to capture some of your dreams by placing your efforts in the right place and by speaking to people who can help you. You will need to initiate this activity yourself and stop relying on other people. Miss Spiderweb is asking you to get very interactive with your capturing of information, leads, and prosperity, even if it means remaking what you felt was already in place. You have to continually evolve. This magical companion will show you how, where, when, and once you do, you will know why. There will soon be new technologies, new connections, new locations, and new people in your life. Weave your web wisely. You will be rebuilding social networks, closing down old websites, removing yourself from the web for a time, and extricating yourself from friendships that keep you stuck in old ways. Yes, death. That's also the process. Allowing those friendships to just go. Allowing those friendships to go somewhere else. Not die in a sense, but just transform. So it says your every phone call, your every conversation, your every thought connects you energetically to another. So this is why the internet, when you get this card, it's really asking you to get off the internet for a while. Because now you're creating this web around you, spinning this web around you, getting stuck in this like cocoon, this spider web cocoon, and it wants you to cut those cords and free yourself from that for some time. And make sure that the connections that you're weaving are in the right place. Like even when you're reading articles online, how do they make you feel? Do they make you angry? When you're reading people's comments, do they make you angry? Does it make you, let that go? Because if we want to rebuild ourselves to be our best selves, and we don't want those, I wouldn't say emotions, but it's like, let's create heaven on earth. And by reading those things that people post and articles that just make you just so, put you in despair. And then you want to respond to them because you're not thinking, because you're thinking with anger. You're thinking with your ego. You're the fool. It's asking you to stay away from the internet for a while. If you can't stay away from the internet, don't read the comments. That's what it's saying. Don't read the comments. Okay, moving on to, so I showed you the little spider web. We're going to move on to Strange and Lovely, holding on way too tight. I think that popped up in the previous reading as well. It's you know, I see this Celtic cross here, so I'm sure it has a lot to do with that. But it's holding on way too tightly to relationships, friendships, things that no longer serve you. And let us see what it has to say in the divination. So this sweet and divine being holds fast to her Celtic cross, clutching her belief systems. So that's another thing. Our belief systems. What we believe to be true, what we believe, you know, it's asking you to let that go. Start thinking about, you know, other possibilities. And it says, perhaps it was given to her, okay, sorry. She's clutching her belief systems because without it, she is not sure who she truly is. Perhaps it was given to her by a beloved. Perhaps it represents her family, a loved one, or aspects of her soul. But the reason she holds on so tight is that she is lonely and has yet to connect with her soul family on a day-to-day basis. There are times in your life when you too may be surrounded by people, even those you call friends, but you still feel extremely lonely amid it all, as she does. You may feel like you need a barrier between yourself and the world, and as she does. There is a sense that you feel too strongly, your individuality, and that you are lonely, as she is too. And it says, one dilemma with living in a world you feel you must protect is that you fear other people intruding on it, disturbing the delicate balance. So you hold on tighter to whatever you have or whatever you feel makes you you. The truth is, your inner world is richer than most, and it's an imaginative paradise, or hell, depending on your state of mind. Holy cow, I just wrote that in a comment to somebody yesterday. I said, depending on the people that you have in your lives, you can either make heaven or hell of your world. If you keep difficult people in your life, you are creating your own hell. You can easily cut them off, but you choose these attachments because you feel like you don't want to hurt their feelings, or they must be in your life because they're family, or you work with these people. You have the choice to move, but fear keeps us stuck. Obligations keep us stuck. These jobs, they keep us stuck. And this is asking you to just let go. Let go. And it says, when you receive this card, please let go. Just a little. And notice how this gives you room to interact and engage with loving others. And this therefore helps you recreate your world anew. It is likely you will choose carefully who you allow in it. But at least one person does need to be let in. And at least one security blanket needs to be shown the door, just for the moment. Yes. So it's almost like when you're hoarding things, right? You know, you can't bring anything new. The motto is 2 items out, 1 new in. And in that way, you're making room. By letting 2 out, you let 1 in, and now you still have room. So you keep letting 2 out, you let 1 in. That's how the great way of clearing out hoarding stuff. So, and it says, you're holding so tightly to something that is proving to be a barrier between you and others, which is why you feel so alone at times. At present, you may need to open up just a little and admit that you crave like-minded people around you. This does not mean people who do the same things for a living as you. It means people who speak to your soul. You're craving a metaphysical and mysterious discussions, and you've got some questions that truly need answers, or at least an exploration. It's time to consult oracles, the ones that we find when we seek out friends who tell us what they see, not what they think we wish to hear. And what you are likely to hear is that you must let something go. Yeah, so sometimes I've had friends that were oracles in my past, and they've told me things that I didn't understand or was afraid about, and I didn't want to hear it. And they were telling me because I needed to hear it. So an oracle is going to tell you things sometimes that you don't want to hear, or that doesn't resonate at the time, but it will. You just got to let it be receptive to what the message is. If you immediately close the door out of fear or of ego, then you're really limiting your receptibility to your higher self and source. Okay? So that was number 248. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're moving on to 3, 6, and 9. Okay, and the song is Magic by Coldplay. And I call it magic. Cut me into two. With all your magic disappeared from view. Okay. Don't want anybody else but you. Such a precious truth. Okay, so, we'll get to that. Magic. Okay, so Magic by Coldplay, and Ace of Bats is all about, overcoming conflict, and new ideas, insight, personal victories, facing conflict or pain honestly, being honest if you were to blame for an issue, facing that, determination, initiative, courage. So it's really about, insight, personal insight, intuition. Yeah, magic. And then we got Skull of Stars, Infinite Possibilities. Love that card. It's all very intuitive card. But then we got the Gift of Sacred Sight. All of these are pretty much the exact same meaning right here. So, Ace of Bats, Ace of Swords. You win through your heart's desires. So whenever you're focusing on your heart's desires, that's when you will win. Because it's always successful. Whatever comes from the heart is always successful. And it talks about new beginnings as well. Making positive decisions and choices that'll lead you to your passions. And it's an intelligent card, spiritual intelligence as well. So, we're going to move to Skull of Stars. Let's zoom this in here. Okay, Skull of Stars, Infinite Possibilities. Why think so small when galaxies spin within? Realize that you are made of the stuff of stars, and infinite possibilities begin. Yes, the skull brings us back to the fact that we are all made of the stuff of stars, yet many of us think so small. We are each born with a blank canvas to paint upon, and we are indeed an open sky of possibilities. It is easy to feel small in a world that is so busy, impersonal, and seemingly self-absorbed. We can at times feel lost and unclear about our direction, and lose sight of our place in the cosmos. The Skull of Stars reminds us that we are only limited by our own imagination and boundaries. If we can dream it, it is possible. This card indicates that you need to think bigger and more broadly about your future. What would you like to achieve? Perhaps there are false beliefs, often old, that no longer serve you as you grow and change. So, limited belief systems, false beliefs. Sometimes these beliefs may not even be yours. They may have been imparted to you by your parents, friends, or the wider community, yet feel rather incongruent to you. You need to endeavor with all your heart and soul to live the life you want and honor your own wishes and truth. Yeah, so, I've said this before because it's popped up in readings before, jumping on another person's journey and not your own. Seeing, they believe something, so now you're jumping on it because you want to believe something because you don't have anything of your own to believe in yet. That's telling you to go on your own journey. Don't focus on somebody else's journey and what they're doing and, wanting to be like somebody else. This is asking you you have infinite possibilities to be whoever you want to create. Use your imagination to create whoever you want in yourself. Yes, you can be inspired by others and take bits and pieces. That's great. inspiring others is great, but always be your authentic self. Put your own spin on things. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Use your intuition and put your own spin on things. So now we're going to move on to Fiona. Think of Fiona Apple. And the unicorn. Let me move this up. I want to get the little, oops, there we go. Pumpkin in the back. Okay, so Fiona the unicorn, the gift of sacred sight. 29, which is 11, which is very inspiring. Little blonde pixie there. Okay, 29, 11, the inspiring leader. It's all about intuition, so you have 2 intuitive cards there. Unicorns help us choose between what is pure and what is polluted. The unicorn's alicorn, a spiral horn holding the divine ratio and perfect proportions within it. Pi, if anybody's familiar with pi. Okay, so the unicorn's alicorn connects directly to their third eye. At this time, many messages are being drawn directly to your third eye, and so your clairvoyant capacity is growing and opening. This may sometimes be disturbing for you. You may experience flashes of light at night, as though lightning is striking behind your closed eyelids. You will be able to see colors and energies around beings, even see who their guides and etheric companions are. The fairy with the unicorn is magical too. She is learning the secrets of speaking with the crystals. And so Fiona and the unicorn speak, and it says, with your open eye, it is likely you will begin to see another world superimposed over this one. Energy will form shapes around people, objects, plants, and even buildings. You will see colors and energy, fields and orbs and entities. You are able to see what once you could not. For a time, this could lead to confusion, disrupted sleep, and a feeling that perhaps you may not be sound of mind. But this is not true. The unicorn and I are here to guide you through this time. The unicorn will help purify the energy that comes close to you and advise you to drink a great deal of water as you go through this process of the third eye opening widely. You will sometimes feel trapped in a world where you receive too many visions to make sense of. This will pass, and we will help you through this stage. Ask us what you need to know, and we will do our best to translate the images you are seeing. The energies you are able to glimpse so clearly now into words you are able to understand. It is not the time to give in to fear and banish this visionary experience. Accepting it will lead to great healing and the ability to help others. Now, before I get to the divination, I want to talk about when my third eye opened. Yes, so how it's talking about you do see orbs, you do see auras, you do see telepathically, you do see dimensions superimposed onto this one. So it is scary sometimes. You will think you are seeing hell, because there are things and dark shadows in people and energies around locations, and it is very scary sometimes. So when you know that it's not real, that it cannot hurt you, because you are just peering into, almost like you're looking through the optical, what is it called? Kaleidoscope. It's almost like you're looking through a kaleidoscope. It cannot hurt you, but you just see different things and patterns and situations, and yeah. So don't be afraid when this starts happening. Do not think that you're going crazy. I highly suggest not going to see a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist, because they will probably want to put you on medication, and really go with your intuition. If you are deathly afraid, seek out another light worker to help you guide through, because this too shall pass. Okay, so moving on to the divination. While your third eye is opening, it may be helpful to work with crystals, to work outside with the fairies in their natural habitat, and to experience pure and beautiful visions to balance the other stranger and sometimes harsh images you will see. So around this time, I always suggest staying away from horror movies, suspense thrillers, things like that, harsh images. Highly suggest staying away from that until it passes, because the awakening, it passes. It's like really strong at first, but then it's kind of like it mellows out. So during that time, you want to stay away from harsh things. Take time to see into nature, and this opening will not be traumatic. It may be strange and difficult at times, but it will become natural and pleasurable. And what you see with your spirit eye will be pleasant for you to experience. A great many visions will come to you. Stay hydrated and keep a record of what you see. You may begin to create spirit paintings, capturing these spirit visions with pen, color, and canvas. You are not losing your mind. You have been gifted with sacred sight. It is a gift, guys. Be grateful for it. Don't be afraid of it. When it does come, so much gratitude. So much gratitude, because so many people wish, so many people work so hard for this gift. So many people pray and work hard and meditate and do all this stuff to receive these gifts, but not everybody gets it. It's all a divine timing, almost like a wake-up call, and it'll come to you when it comes to you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Death and the Maiden, and there's a reason why this card popped up along with these, because everybody wants what you have when you are talentedly gifted like that. So, Death of the Maiden, invasion, boundaries, violated dominance. People will want to take advantage of you. People will want your gifts, your energy. They will want to siphon that from you, almost like the energy vampires in a sense. So I'm going to read Death and the Maiden now, 28. And I like that we got 1, 1, 1, 1, so 11, 11. So if you are a 3, 6, 9, or you picked whatever, this is the 11, 11 is the awakening code. The awakening, when you see it, that means you're awakening, you're beginning to awakening to the spirit world, to this ascension process, to this Kundalini awakening. Yes, so Death and the Maiden, number 28. Well, it's also about 4, which is building foundations for the future, teaching others, stepping into that light worker role of teaching others as well. So, and using love, your power, using love. Don't use ego. This is asking you not to use your ego. This is asking you to use love. Do not manipulate people with your gifts. Always come from a space of love. Always. Okay. So, a leering skeleton is looming over a beautiful naked young woman and doesn't seem to have any idea of how its presence is affecting her. It's not aware of it, and it's not interested in her response, her reality, or her needs. So this is interesting. When this pops up, this is like when you're becoming a medium and all the ghosts and spirit world starts coming and sending you messages, and it's overwhelming. This goes perfectly with Fiona and the unicorn, because they don't care about bothering you, coming to you with their messages. So you have to set healthy boundaries with the spirit world as well as people, because they'll want your energy. They'll want you to connect with things, and it's like you have to have healthy boundaries. So, the skeleton represents true death, the relentless ego, and is way too close for comfort. The vulnerable young woman is cowering and feeling herself frozen as its unwanted hands touches her. So you'll feel it. You'll feel like the tingles, and you'll feel them around. So the death speaks. I am full of needs. I am hungry for life force. I need to be close to this one, as she has all that I long for and all that I have not created for myself. I will simply hover about her and take from her that which I want, her warmth, her energy, her emotions, and her beauty. She is an extension of me, what I want. I will take, and I love her too very much, so much I may just consume her entirely. And that is people wanting your gifts and what you have. They haven't worked for it. So they want all these tips and easy tricks, and there is no easy tips and tricks to get here. It's a long process. So the maiden speaks now. I thought this was love, but now I can see and feel that this is invasive. It says it cares for me, and yet it just seems to want to take from me. This no longer feels right, but I feel helpless and vulnerable. What can I do? How do I break free? And what if what it says is true, that it loves me, and I am fearful for no reason? And the divination message is, there is a very out of balance relationship between you and another at this time. It may be that you are death, taking too much and imposing on another, and all the while blind as the skeleton to the truth. Or it may be that you are the maiden and have no defenses against another who is draining you, claiming all the while to love you. You may have been drawn into the drama and color and entertainment of a relationship that is full of highs and lows and passion, but you are now discovering that it is tiring, draining, and lacking in respect. It is time to truthfully assess this relationship and take steps to be safer, more protected, and more respected. Do not attempt to convince death of its problems. Those real people will only draw closer, cling harder, and convince you that you have a problem, not them. You may feel fear as to what they will do once you separate from them, as they are vindictive and malicious. Freedom is worth the trial of separating. Ask yourself, is this relationship healthy for me? If the answer is no, then you must take the steps to go. So yes, use your intuition. Do not allow people to invade your privacy, your boundaries. You must create healthy boundaries. When you begin to awaken and you begin to have these gifts, people will take advantage. You must not allow that. You must have healthy boundaries. And people will lie to you. You will sense the telepathy aspect will awaken, and they're going to lie to your face, and you're going to know it's a lie. Just let them lie. Don't call them out. Just let them lie and move on. Move on from them. Let them deal with their karma. Your reaction is your karma. So by calling them out, just let it go. Just let it go. And what's interesting, so I had forgot to shuffle, and I think it was 10 of Bats came out. I'm going to see if I can find it in here. That's probably going to take forever to find. Anyway, so 10 of Bats came out. So I put it back into reshuffle to get, and I got Ace of Bats. But 10 of Bats is about burdens, you know, and this is kind of a burden. To some, you know, it can feel burdensome, but you always have to be grateful for it, because so many people wish to have these gifts. So really have to be grateful. Even when it feels like a burden, even when it feels like too many messages are coming, you know, you can always ask them to please slow down for a minute, give me time to recuperate, give me time to understand, and they will. I know when I first had my awakening, I used to shut my eyes because I couldn't focus. Like it was, messages would come at me left and right, and I just really had to close my eyes. And I really had to focus on something like a tree or a flower, or, you know, if I'm outside, just focus on something and just let it pass, let it come through. But journal, you know, when messages come to you consecutively, journal them. And it'll start getting clearer and clearer as the messages come through. Okay, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this reading resonated for all of you. And if it did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And remember, there are infinite possibilities with these gifts that you have, so use them wisely. Namaste, everybody.